everyone, and welcome to This Week in Toku, or TWIT with Vac and Buster. I am your host, the Vacuuminator, and I am joined, as always, by Miriam of Buster Corp.
That's me.
Hey, it is you. It's you. It's the person who I talk to on a weekly basis about Tokusatsu starting last week. How are you doing?
Yeah, I am doing pretty good. I actually want to watch some old episodes to discuss, but I didn't get around to it, so we're just gonna talk about the new episodes this week.
Yeah, we've only got one new episode to talk about, but man, there is a whole mess of news, so we'll be getting into that pretty shortly.
Yeah,
but
mostly of toy stuff.
Yeah, and that's probably something I should have warned people about in the last episode. We will be talking about just quite extensively because, hey, guess what? Tokusatsu is kind of about toys, and we're kind of people who buy toys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very casual. That's more hardcore into the toy collection, so...
I'd say I'm moderate. I know people who buy a lot more than I do.
Well, compared to me, it's a lot.
But I'm not at Bruno levels, let's say.
Oh, yeah, like Bruno from MMPR Toys.
But,
shelves of Megazords, but...
One day, as I shake my fist, imagine it.
Yes.
But, yeah, I don't think, there's too much preamble to do this week, so should we just go ahead and get into... You there?
Yep.
Oh, okay, you cut out for
Yeah, I'm there. Wait. Oh, dang.
That's okay.
Oof.
Technical difficulties, folks. Discord is not the best program ever, but it's pretty solid. That's why we use it.
Yeah, very solid for what it is, honestly.
Okay, so first up, we have some news regarding anniversary merch for Hyakujuu Sentai Gaoranger. If you didn't know, I
got a total of, I think, 3?
Yeah, it's that...
3 stuff?
It's that season's, 20th or 25th anniversary this year?
Yeah. And it's actually getting showcased in Zenkaiger, so makes sense.
Yeah, which is cool. So at the beginning of the week, I think right after we put up the episode for last week, there was a teaser for a Shodo release, or Sodo, I forget how you pronounce that. I'm not too terribly excited about this, just because I don't collect Sodo. I haven't gotten any of the previous Sodo releases, and I'm probably not ever going to, because I hate 5-inch scale stuff. I think it's a really weird scale to do action figures in, but I know there's a lot of people who do enjoy the Sodo line, so, definitely probably exciting for...
Yeah, Sodo's like the buildable action figures, right?
Kind of,
or am I thinking of something else?
I think these, because this is Sodo Super, which is their more high-end collector version. So I think this is kind of a little nicer version that comes mostly reassembled from what I understand. I need to watch more.
Yeah, the only Shodo line I've been familiar with was Build Shodo line, and that's because Build was the only time where I actually watched Tokusatsu toy reviews regularly.
That's fair. But then we also got a Super Minipla tease, followed by just recently a reveal of gray prototypes for Gao King is getting a Minipla release. And I have yet to buy a Minipla kit, despite really wanting to several times. Just pre-orders passed me by. But I don't know. This one's looking pretty tasty. It's not one of my favorite mech designs ever, but it's looking like the best possible. I might cop this if it's not. Yeah.
Actually, I was gonna say, I think I saw weren't they releasing Miniplas in Barnes and Nobles for Sentai? Because I remember seeing some Gaoranger ones.
They were, but they only get one shipment of them, and Barnes and Noble tends to do a pretty hefty markup on import stuff, so it's not the best.
Yeah, it was $200 when I saw it. Yeah, it was $200 when I saw it.
But that all looks pretty exciting. I'm glad to see Gaoranger getting some anniversary merch because, Wild Force is yet to crop up in the Lightning collection. So
a lot of seasons haven't cropped up, which I guess because it's the molds, but still. Actually, speaking of Lightning collection,
we've got some
and disappointment.
We've got some leaked Lightning collection listings, which were discovered recently. Pull these back up. So these are for TMNT 2-packs. There's 3 different ones, and then there is for A Squad, Venus, Jupiter, and Boom Shredder as single releases. So a lot of people are very confidently theorizing that the TMNT 2-packs, especially because of the Boom Shredder, are going to be based on the Go-Go Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover that Ryan Parrott wrote. Potentially being the Power Rangerized or turtleized Ranger suits from that season, which isn't the worst idea ever. I don't think those suits are terrible, but I haven't actually read that crossover, and
I heard it was good. I heard it was like good fun. Like usually, like the Justice League one was pretty good from what I hear. So
yeah, it was all right if I remember correctly.
Yeah, although I kind of felt like a bit of side tangent. The problem with the Justice League one is that there was a sequence where like a bunch of other Justice League members came in, and you would feel like, oh, we're gonna get some other Power Rangers maybe, and it was just Mighty Morphin. It really felt more of a Justice League story, but like it felt like they didn't want to expand MMPR. I mean that's a problem. Yeah, you get what I mean. Like basically,
Wasn't
what I'm trying to say
like
is
pre-Shattered Grid though, so I imagine they were kind of holding back on that stuff.
No, it was during. No, I think it was like during Shattered Grid, so it was like a 25th anniversary thing.
Okay.
Then again, the comic like issue to issue got delayed severely because I don't know what DC's a bit weird sometimes with that stuff. So yeah, I mean, yeah. What I'm trying to say is this isn't really unprecedented for a 2010s DC comics because Doomsday Clock got delayed so many times.
Yeah, DC has a bad history of overhyping something and then it getting delayed.
And where just there's no more hype.
Robin.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Remember that book technically still isn't over.
Just released like a 2+ issue there. Problem solved.
But I don't know. If these figures are what we're thinking they are, I probably won't go for them just because I don't have any attachment.
Maybe I'll get the Boom Shredder one because I like Shredder a lot.
That's fair, but like I just have next to no attachment to Turtles. I watched the first 2 seasons of the 2012 series, and like it was good, but it didn't hook me on Turtles. And Turtles is just one of those things that wasn't there since childhood. So even though Turtles are my favorite animal, Ninja Turtles, the franchise, has never pulled me in. So these are kind of like easy passes.
Like, I'm actually one of the people who like really like what I've seen of Rise of the TMNT. I think that's a really fun show. I'm not sure. I think you're not as hot on it, but like I thought that was a really good show with a horrible toy line.
I've seen the intro and I like the intro.
Yeah, I will say it feels like it's just a really like one of the most like it. I think I keep stuttering over my words today. It's a very fun show. Like a very like it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's very fun in what it's trying to do.
That's fair. And then obviously the 2 A Squad releases have me pretty excited, and
I kind of wish they did like a 5-pack for it because it kind of like what they did with the Psychos because it kind of feels like that thing that only hardcore fans would do.
That's fair, but I get the feeling they're trying to avoid the kind of screw-up they had with the Psycho, where we got free Psycho releases, and then they were like, oh, and then here's just all of them plus 2 of the ones you already have in a multi-pack. And we've already got one
but that was kind of a mess from what I heard.
We've already got 1 A Squad Ranger through that 2-pack with B Squad. So I keep
seeing that at Target, and it keeps mocking me, saying, "Ha, no Dino Fury toys, but you get me."
So I'm thinking this is probably going to be A Squad red and either pink or green, since we just got B Squad pink, and we've had B Squad red for a while, and B Squad green was just announced. So I think they're going to try and catch up to those releases, and maybe we'll get B Squad and A Squad yellow as a 2-pack somewhere down the line.
Yeah. Again, like I'm not really like in love with the A Squad, I like SPD, but I'm not like the hugest fan of SPD, so like it doesn't really like appeal to my niches. So, yeah, but still, it's cool.
That's fair. I will be Growza if that is what the listing suggests, because all this has to be taken with a slight grain of salt.
Yeah. Although I will give them credit that the SPD bridge is the first time I've considered maybe I should get a Lightning figure again.
Nice.
So, like we discussed last week, so.
And then we got an announcement out of ThreeZero, which is that in addition to their main 6 Mighty Morphin, 1/6 scale, I believe 12-inch figures are, They're also going to be doing a limited run of Mighty Morphin Red Ranger with Dragon, which, very easy additional release, sort of partial release to do. I think it's understandable that they're doing a limited run of it, because that's something not everybody's gonna feel like they need to complete the team. I think there's a lot of people out there who would either just want the main 5 or just want the main 6.
Or just want 6.
Yeah, but it's cool that they're going out of their way to also do that, and it allows them to get a little extra money on those molds. So good for them.
Actually, I was gonna say, this made me realize, I prefer the MMPR suits of the Dragon Shield. They look infinitely better with the Dragon Shield than any just regularly. Regularly they're fine, but they look way better with the Dragon Shield.
That's true. I kind of wish it became a team-wide armor upgrade after Barai died instead of just for Geki. That would have been really cool.
Although I don't think team-wide power-ups were common for Sentai back then, so kind of understandable.
I don't think they became common until around the time of Xandred, and even then
Magi Ranger had one.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that was in Magi. And fucking Gaoranger with Rampage mode. So I don't know. I'm talking out my ass there. But then also we had announced from Bandai to tie in with the Decade versus Geo special that's going on right now. They are re-releasing the Decade
Geo versus Decade.
Yeah, I forgot that there's 2 different ones, but they're re-releasing the Decade Ride Watch to go along with the Ziku driver that they just re-released.
And the Saber Ride Watch, so you can get the form you see in the special.
Yeah, so you can there's kind of a mini re-release toy line going on for that whole special, which is nice, especially for people who may not have watched Geo while it was airing, but just got to it and are like, oh, that's nice, I want to get those toys. Oh god, aftermarket prices. I
just got a GQ driver, so this is great for me.
Yeah, and I currently have the Neo Deca driver and that new K-Touch on pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store.
Nice.
However, I don't think I'll be getting this just because I don't have a GQ driver, and honestly, it doesn't interest me that much outside of maybe at some point getting a used one and the Gates Ride Watch and maybe just Wizard Ride Watch because I have a big connection to that.
Yeah. The bundle I got came with both the Geo and Gates Ride Watch, so maybe you'll find a bundle like that.
Hopefully maybe one day on the eBays, doing one of those legendary toy collector late night drunken eBay searches.
That's an actual thing people do?
Oh yeah.
I thought those were just stuff about myths.
There's a reason one of the 10 commandments of toy collecting is don't drink an eBay.
Okay.
Yeah. But then we got an announcement of something that I think is pretty monumental, because Medicom in their MAFEX line is going to be doing a Shin Ultraman figure based off of the design from the new movie, and
that looks really good.
I think this is the first time MAFEX has, or MAFEX, I'm sorry, I keep mispronouncing it. It's MAFEX because it's Miracle Action Figure with Effects is what that stands. But
also it will have light up eyes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think that's the first time they've done that in the MAFEX line, and I think it's the first Tokusatsu release in general, because usually they do comic books and big Hollywood movies. They've done a ton of DC and Marvel figures and some Star Wars stuff, but I can't remember them ever doing a Tokusatsu figure. So this is big new territory for them, and it seems like a really ambitious release, and it's kind of cool that there's going to be direct competition with the Figuarts.
Yeah. I also this is just proving that Supro, a Subaraya, is just really going in with we got to make Ultraman a big name household wide.
Yeah.
With the US releases of the Blu-rays and the comic that
Ultraman is no longer a Japanese thing. He is Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, he's always kind of been Mr. Worldwide, but they're trying to get back to that worldwide status.
Yeah, they're embracing it, I think, a term for it. And speaking of which, we also got an Ultraman SH Figuarts announcement this week. Geed Galaxy Rising was revealed, and I've not watched Geed. I've heard good things about it.
Oh, Geed It was my first Ultraman.
Nice.
So good.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. But this form, as a figure at least, is fucking gorgeous.
It really is.
Like, this is one of those reveals that seriously tempts me to go back to SH Figuarts, because I rage quit that toy line a few years ago, for those who don't know.
So what happened? Was it just not good toys, or just...
Just, like, they never really felt solid to me, and then I was proven right when, like, after a year of ownership, my Figuarts Beast fell apart.
Oof.
Yeah. Kamen Rider Beast.
And Beast is one of your favorite riders, right?
Yeah. So I was a little bit gutted, and like just recently the last Figuart I owned also broke because I put my Figuarts Zedo in a baggie just to store him for a couple days while I was moving some stuff around in the vac shack, and then like I go to pull him out and put him back on display, and his antenna is just completely fallen off. And it's way too small to glue that back on. So it's like, all right, this is depressing, but I guess you're going in the bin. But this figure, Ultraman Gi Galaxy Rising, looks great.
Yeah.
So,
like, also his transformation, like, I know it's not a big part of the figure, but the transformation in show is so good. Like,
is that one of the ones he did during Zed?
Yeah, Zed, because Galaxy Rising was in Zed. It's a completely different transformation because he uses the Zet Riser instead of the Geed Riser. So.
Okay. But then, and this is kind of the big news article of the week, I'd say. Simon Bennet,
it was actually...
Go ahead.
I was actually going to say, we're the link in our, like, we have a little document, and it's just to the comicbook.com interview, but he's been doing multiple interviews with multiple news sites, which I think is really cool.
Simon Bennet, new executive producer for Power Rangers, Dino Fury is his first season. He made the rounds this week, doing a bunch of promotional interviews for Dino Fury, and we got some...
Which, on a side note, like, on a side note, this is probably the most pre-promotion a Power Rangers season has gotten since, like, Samurai or Megaforce, I'd say. Because even Beast Morphers, it was very low-key. There wasn't really much. It was just, we own the franchise now. Here's the show.
Yeah. You know, it was kind of like, you know how this works. Here's your show. Here, enjoy.
Yeah. But here it's like, changes are coming, and we hear you fans, and we're going to get you stuff you like. We'll see how well they do it when we get to reviewing the episode later in the video.
Yeah, it kind of confirmed the whole theory everyone had going into Beast Morphers, which was that it was going to be more transitional season like Wild Force than anything, where like it's going to be kind of similar, there's going to be some new stuff to it, it's going to feel very unique, and then we're going to get the big changes in the following season.
Yeah. Which... Yeah, never mind. Continue.
I was just going to say, like, the big things I got out of this is Bennet talked about there's a difference in sort of storytelling philosophy for this season of they're going for more serialized arcs rather than one-offs, and no more singular comedy characters. The comedy is disseminated throughout the whole cast, which is
this brings me to a side
for Power Rangers.
At least Neo Saban Power Rangers are, like, after Disney Power Rangers, because like even like Disney, they started like towards like SPD and like SPD had like they start to tone down the comedy characters and making them like actual characters. Like comedy wasn't their defining feature, unlike like Victor and Monty and Ben and Betty. Also, I really hate that in Beast Morphers they literally had the B spots right there that could have been their comedy characters and they just didn't.
Yeah, that's one of my few criticisms of Beast Morphers, actually, because I like that show way more than you do, but, like, the B-Spots were so under...
Like, and it's like my main criticism is B-Spots have toys to sell. Ben and Betty do not. It's more from, like, a business standpoint, where it's just, like, you had a chance to promote the toys and you didn't promote the toys.
It's a little weird. It makes me wonder
and also love that he
handle,
always
say, Zyuohger or even Zenkaiju.
Oh, yeah. Also, I just love that they made a point to say we're doing dialogue-heavy comedy, which, as we'll get to, is a pretty big part of Dino Fury.
It's going to be tough getting used to saying Dino Fury for a lot of people, I think, because, like, it took a while to get used to saying Dino Charge, because everybody kept saying Dino Thunder. And like we've all been saying Beast Morphers for 2 years, and that's a really easy name that rolls right off your tongue. Dino Fury, it's not the worst name in the world, but it's a tad clunky.
Actually, like Simon Bennet tweeted out that the working title was Dino Knights, but Hasbro insisted on Dino Fury.
They probably wanted something a little more action sound.
Yeah, or like just something synergistic with past seasons. So like, hey, we'll take a previous subtitle and put it in the new Dino season. So like Jungle Fury, Dino Fury, you know?
But yeah, I did actually watch the video version that was on Comicbook. I don't know if anybody else had a video interview up as well as their article.
Yeah, a couple others did. They did do video interviews. I haven't seen them, but I've seen them recommended to me. So
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, Simon Bennet does come off as like a pretty nice, pretty intelligent guy. So like he's definitely something you want front running your
Yeah, we'll see how Jonathan Entwistle does with his section of the brand whenever we see that.
Yeah. But then we got something that I think is pretty exciting in the potential that it invokes, not necessarily in what it is. So, for those of you who are unaware, because you probably know about the actual thing, but you don't know about the backstory of it, Mezco is a toy company that has been around for years and years, and they've done like random little things here and there. However, in the last like 5 years, I'd say, they've really hit their stride with a line called the 1/12 Collective, which is kind of basically very, very, very high-end 6-inch action figures, like near Hot Toys level, but at that 6-inch scale instead of the 12-inch scale that Hot Toys is at. It's like, if you like the look of those figures but you don't like how big they are, here's something that's a little more comfortable to the average toy collector. And they've done tons of Marvel and DC stuff. They've done a few odds and ends here and there. They've got their own our creative universe subline called the Rumble Society that they play around in. And it's all very interesting, and it's something I've been spectating for years and years. And I actually just recently, a little bit before this, pre-ordered my first ever Mezco figure. I'm going to be getting the Mezco John Constantine when that comes out.
Nice.
But as part of their big event that they've been doing this week, which is the Mezco Toys with a Z fair, in place of actual toy fair happening, they've been doing a bunch of reveals, and one of the reveals that happened over the weekend was that they are doing a 1/12 Collective Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, which...
And Ultraman, which I feel like we should combine those two together
in a second, yeah.
We'll start with Green.
But, like, you get 2 teasers per reveal here. We don't have the full solicitation and layout of accessories, but for those of you who don't know, these things come with an insane amount of accessories. It's a, like, standardized, highly articulated body with a cloth oversuit, which can get caught in the joints sometimes if you're
It looks very nice.
But it looks right out of the show. It's absolutely beautiful. For those of you who aren't satisfied with the level of detail and like the fact that there's not paired hands in Lightning Collection, this is the line you want.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, it's not confirmed, but I wonder if maybe this is a similar situation to the Super 7 stuff where they just have a license for Mighty Morphin. And if
I think it is.
Yeah, and if it is, like, it's not the end of the world, but I can't help but say, like, man, I really want Gaoranger suits done up like this.
Oh, Deca Master like this? I can at least see them, like, if they branch out doing, like, Deca Master.
Yeah. Like...
Because, you know, Doggy's pretty popular even outside of SBD's, like, the cult Power Rangers fan base, so...
And, like, that's a thing with Hasbro recently where they've been, like, tipping their toes into licensing out their properties to other toy companies for a substantial fee. And I feel like this and the Super 7 thing is them testing the waters with it. It's them saying, like, okay, Mighty Morphin generally sells the best. Let's see if it's worthwhile doing with Mighty Morphin.
Unfortunately.
And if it is, and if there's interest from these other companies, we'll open it up to other seasons. That's what I would hope, at least. So
yeah, so I kind of hate it that they're putting basically like, but that's business, you know, putting like, you know, if you want more of this, you got to buy this thing you probably don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like, it looks like even my MMPR like disliking heart can't, like, it looks so cool.
Yeah,
like,
and I love these suits. Like, Here's the thing. If you can afford it and you're interested in it, I would definitely say go for this, because they're definitely at least going to do the main 6 MMPR Rangers. Mezco's kind of crazy, so they might do some villains and some monsters of the week if
we get
stuff
Zed.
sells well enough. Oh my god, Zed, like, this would be amazing. They'd probably actually do a really good Rita, too, with how good they are with soft goods.
Yeah. Although I'm more interested in Zed.
That's
but, like,
fair.
You know, still.
But, like, the thing is, I'm satisfied with my Lightning Collection, Zed. I have looked at that Rita in GameStops multiple times and gone just like, this isn't going to look good when I pose it. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, valid.
But...
And then we have the Ultraman one, which looks... I think it even looks even better than the MMPR one, just because of how authentic it looks.
It looks spot on. I love that they're giving it the LED treatment, because they do that for some figures, so the color timer is going to light up, and I think the eyes are too.
Yeah. I hope they do they give you an option to do the blinking almost out of time color timer.
Given how detail oriented Mezco is, I would be shocked if So, and it looks right out of the show, to the point where, I talked about how sometimes the cloth suits can get caught in the joints and a little messed up. I think, this might be the best Mezco figure ever, because with Ultraman's suit, the suit getting a little effed up at the joints is diegetic.
Yeah, I was like, that's what it means. It looks like an actual suit because of even the flaws make it look even better. Mm-hmm. It's so amazing.
I'm a little tempted by MMPR green. It's if I don't have anything else too expensive going on that month and it's a decent price, I'll get it. Kind of eyeballing. I've got to get this Ultraman. It is fantastic looking, and I have no doubt they're going to do a crazy.
I can see them doing Ultra 7 next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ultra 7's the second most popular Ultra, so of course, I think that would not logically be the next step if this one does well.
And with how many accessories Mezco, 112 Collective does, I'm just so excited. I'm tripping all over my words here, but
yeah, same.
With how many accessories you normally get with a 112 Collective release, even though this never happens in Ultraman, I would not be surprised if this comes with an unhelmeted Shin Hayata head.
Mm. And I wouldn't like that.
Sorry?
Wait, Vac? What? I wouldn't like that, really. The unhelmeted head.
That's fair. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody, but I'm saying that also because of the Green Ranger. People complain about the unhelmeted head sculpts not looking great and not feeling like they're worth the extra money in Lightning Collection. Again, here's your line. Look at any recent 112 Collective figure. They always have an amazing likeness, even if it's a comic book character that they're trying to make realistic.
Yeah, because I'm looking at some of their other figures in the they do capture the face as well. I'm looking at this Wolverine figure; it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the other thing I would want to forewarn people who maybe haven't dealt with Mezco before: be ready for a little price tag shock, because these things, depending on
they look nice, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna
depending on how much comes with them. A standard Mezco release is usually $80. If they have a crap ton of accessories, you're looking at $100 to $120. If they come with a big extra thing, or they light up, you're looking at upwards into $250. Their 112 Collective Ghost Rider, that has the bike, and that bike, all the flames on it and the flames in the head light up, that is $250.
Well, there goes any chance I'm going to buy any of that.
Yeah, so it's if you're going to get into this line, I would say it's definitely worth the asking price, but it is a high asking price, so just be prepared for it.
Yeah.
I think my John Constantine that I pre-ordered is $110, or no, I'm looking at it again, it's just flat $100, and then I think it's $15 shipping, which I'm comfortable with for how much that figure comes with. He comes with a bunch of pairs of hands, matching hands for each size. He comes with a cigarette and a lighter and a little smoke effect. He's got 2 different swords and a bunch of magical artifacts from the DC universe. So I'm super into that. I'm fully down with that price. but other people might not be. It's just what I'm putting out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not comfortable with it, so there goes any of my interest getting that line. Like, hey, maybe one day, maybe like a one-off here and there.
Potentially. I'm like, hey, I said I'm probably getting that Ultraman. Maybe if we could get you to the summit, if I want to bring that idea back in, you could mess around with that thing there.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a discussion for another day.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to take a while.
So, a couple other little things related to Kamen Rider going on. We have the trailer for the Kamen Rider 01 Others spin-off visual, which is...
Yeah, I mentioned it at... I think I mentioned to that you when we were, before we were recording for WandaVision yesterday. Or not yesterday, a couple days ago.
It's alright. Space is warped and time is...
It really is.
But I did hear about this through you. I had no idea this spinoff was happening, but I went and watched this trailer, and it looks like it's basically Metsubo Jinrai the movie, and I'm kind of into that.
It is. Yeah, and I'm like, Metsubo Jinrai, they're like a very big highlight of 01 in my opinion. I kind of wish they got more stuff to do, but the job arc kind of I didn't hate the job arc, but it kind of did mess with Metsubo Jinrai's cool factor until Arc came back, Kamen Rider.
It definitely that, and I'd say the what is it, the
pandemic,
the competition arc, or are we talking about the same thing?
We were talking about the competition arc.
Yeah, but that definitely dragged on 4 or 5 episodes too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metsubo Jinrai is great. All those actors are wonderful, and the characters are pretty interesting. So I'm excited to see them get some focus and get a cool after story. It looks like, I don't know, Kamen Rider after stories, whether they're good or not, is kind of a 50-50 shot. But I'm looking forward to this, and if it gets a subbed release that goes across my feed, I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, they have a Kamen Rider 1000 repaint called Kamen Rider Zaya, and it looks wonderful. I love it.
Beautiful.
And yeah, and also the titular Kamen Rider Metsubo Jinrai looks pretty good. It's not the best suit in that show, but it's still a really good one.
Yeah, it's definitely a good fusion of all the Metsubo Jinrai suits. I don't know if it's a suit I love, but Zaya.
It gives me Ultraman fusion vibes, where it's specifically the Kamen Rider Ultraman Raiga they had in the Taiga movie. But yeah.
And yeah, I hope Zaya gets some kind of a toy.
I think they will get an SH Figuart at minimum, because they want to milk those suits for all they worth.
Yeah, I'm gonna milk those molds, repaint them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of news for this week is that the Toei Tokusatsu fan club in Japan has announced that they are going to be having a Kamen Rider Gaim Day live stream, which is kind of simultaneously an anniversary celebration and also a promotional thing for the new Gaiden that's coming out. It's going to be a live stream.
I think it already came out. Came out. Yeah, because they started releasing it in November.
Huh.
I just think people have been slow to sub it, or the subs haven't been getting major attention.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've heard next to nothing about that movie since it was announced.
Yeah, I've been listening to the theme, and it's a really good theme. Guy music is generally good, and I'm glad this new Gaiden keeps up the great music.
Yeah, that's definitely. But yeah, they're basically going to be doing a live stream with a bunch of actors from Gaim and this new Gaiden, kind of reminiscing about the series as a whole and doing some fan Q&A, and it should be a fun, cute thing. I think if I'll watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it, but I think something new is gonna be announced, either a new toy or another Gaiden. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean Gaim is kind of this generation's Den-O. They could just do movies with that forever.
Yeah. And we thought X8 was gonna be Den-O, but then it just kind of stopped.
Mm-hmm. No.
And even Den-O outlasted Den-O's already they just released a pretty Den-O special, so they're still going strong.
I mean, Den-O's one of those things that it's been going for so long that now it's in its nostalgia phase. So, they've got that whole market going. It's kind of to give a Western equivalent, I'd say it's the live-action Transformers movies. where those were a huge cash cow juggernaut for like 5 years, and then they kind of carried on a little bit limpingly, and everybody just sort of arbitrarily saw them. But now all the people who saw that when they were kids are adults, and they're nostalgic for it, so that's why Hasbro made the Transformers Studio series.
Yeah. I've been seeing those. They look pretty good for what they are.
Yeah. It's one of those things where they're probably great toys, but I'm just avoiding the line because I don't need to collect that. I have a childhood attachment
honestly,
to movies, but like, am I really going to do something that's generations, but for something I already did? Like, no thank you.
Yeah. Actually, like, I was going to say, I have a very bad experience with Bayformers toys, mainly Bayformers Devastator. I have this, like, it was like a mini version of the toy, and I just had the worst time making it, and it was just... I don't even think I have a piece of that anymore. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the Legends toy. That thing could be pretty frustrating. Like
it was like a smaller toy. Like in 2015, 14, 13.
Like the Power Battler.
It was like a small. I think it was like a more kid-friendly toy because it was like, yeah, no, I barely remember when I was playing around with that, but that kind of turned me off from any Bayformers toy.
I really want to know what this is now, so we're going to have to get you in a call with Snowcone at some point so he can figure it out, because he's a wizard at figuring out what toys are from next to no information.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure it was one of those, like, mini lines where it's... Oh, whatever. We should probably move on to the next thing.
Well, the next thing is actually this week's new episodes, so...
Should I turn on the thing?
Yeah, you should turn on the thing, because we only have one new episode this week, and it is the premiere of Power Rangers Dino Fury, Season 1, Episode 1, Destination Dino Henge. So...
I got the thing on.
Let's do it. It's Morphin time!
Putting this key in is so frustrating. There.
So, for those of you who don't follow us on Twitter, yeah, we both got the Morpher.
Yeah. It's a really good Morpher, despite the keys being a bit weak, but hey, the Zord keys look way better, so...
It's definitely a lot heftier than I expected, which is nice.
Yeah, I think it's like a bit heavier than the Beast Morpher's Morpher.
Probably. I should have gotten that and, like, compared them, because I do have it down in the Vac Shack, but I haven't taken this thing down there. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I posed this next to my Beast Morpher's Morpher, because currently I only have 2 Power Rangers Morphers, so... Like, I just have the Hasbro ones. Maybe I have some old stuff from childhood, but I don't think they have sound effects. Anyway.
But, getting into this episode, Buster...
Okay, can I just...
Spoiler-free.
Can I just say, like...
General thoughts.
Spoiler-free. Okay, I was about to go into a recap, and thank you for stopping me before I spoiled things. Yeah, I like this episode. It's kind of like what I wanted this show to be, just kind of chill, but with some great bits of lore and character moments. Like, yeah, it's kind of ticking my boxes of what I want from Dino Fury, and I really hope it continues this quality.
Definitely.
Also, Void Knight is so good. I know his voice is kind of bad, but I love it anyway.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this pilot. I liked how it was kind of just like this interesting mystery all throughout, just waiting for them to get to the powers until that final battle sequence, which was very exciting. And I really liked getting to know just a couple of our characters right off the bat instead of having everyone thrown at us at once. That backstory at the end was just so exciting, and
oh yeah, like spoiler free backstory like thoughts. It elevated this episode from being pretty good to amazing for me.
Yeah, and I think everybody kind of had the same take. Like, Twitter might have exploded a little bit when a certain name got dropped.
Oh, yeah.
But...
Well, like a certain character appeared, but let's get into the recap.
Yeah, or let's start bouncing around. Let's do some talking points. What?
Yeah, actually, the reason I want to do a recap is so I can complain about Beast Morphers a bit. So I hate that in Beast Morphers, they would do 7 minutes into the episode, and then boom, theme song when we're just getting into the thick of things.
Yeah,
I love how
that was the worst.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I can't wait to see what's next. Oh, theme song. Okay, I mean, it wasn't, like, Dino Fury, it's just okay. Let's actually edit this properly, like an actual TV show, and put the theme song in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm fine with a teaser, but make it a teaser. Don't make it half the episode.
Yeah, that was very off. Like when they did Beast Morphers, I felt like okay, this is an editing error.
Mm-hmm. However, we talked about the theme song last week. I like it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do we want to just go for the thing, or do we want to kind of go in chronological order here and just talk about aspects of the show as they were introduced?
Let's just bounce some like early stuff before we get into the thing. Let's just like go out of order and just talk about the things we like or dislike.
I legitimately loved Buzz Blast.
Oh yeah, that was a great pair. Like honestly, that has a lot of potential for great comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like legit, like dialogue, clever parody comedy, and I kind of like how this might represent, like, depending on how the season goes, this might represent meta commentary, Power Rangers finally moving into the modern age. Because, we have these, hopefully, like, fingers crossed, knocking on wood. As I was saying, like, it's kind of like, yeah, let's have the characters actually, like, this is something in the modern age. Like, these clickbaity news sites, which, ironically, Simon Bennet was being interviewed by.
Like, as we were talking about last week, they're grown-ass adults with jobs.
Yeah. I mean, they still have, like, quirky personalities out of cartoons, but, hey, that's the Power Rangers way.
Mm-hmm. And, like, that's perfectly fine. But, like, it doesn't always have to be teenagers with attitude. I mean...
Yeah, or teenagers with lack of attitude.
Mm-hmm. As I've talked about before, my first season was SPD, a season about cops doing cop shit.
Okay, that's... Okay, I'm not going to even touch that.
Yeah, I loved the whole vibe of Buzz Blast, because here's the thing. That is legitimately the darkest timeline of Modular to me, is us becoming one of those sites. So, like, I was reveling in, like, yes, this is hilarious, these sites are goofy and dumb and kind of insidious, and I hate them, but also there's quirky people working there, and that's neat.
Yeah, I actually like how one of the first jokes of the episode is about overworking, and I'm like, that's a mood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, this is great. Now keep up this, like, dialogue-based, like, oh, this is stuff we all experience. Because even kids nowadays, they experience that kind of stuff, and, like the whole, pandemic kind of throwing the entire school system into chaos, so...
That's very true. How do we... Let's go ahead and talk about Amelia for a second. How do you feel about her?
Yeah. She is basically Ui, and I like that. You haven't seen Ui Soldier. Ui was like a side...
I watched our friend of the show, Database Rangers, video on this first episode, so he kind of filled in that whole thing.
Oh yeah, I saw that video too. I was glad I wasn't the only one who noticed. Oh wait, they're kind of adapting Ui's plot in a way, because like it kind of reminds me of the Bakugan reboot, where, okay, why are they YouTubers? But it makes sense because the source material, like in Bakugan, they all connected through the internet. So it's like, oh wait, this new version of them, it makes sense. Like when you actually think about it, it's like, oh wait, that actually makes sense, instead of just being pandering to the modern age,
Nice. Yeah, I definitely like the whole, like, working girl kind of online personality aspect of her character. And I think the ghost thing can be fun. However, I'm gonna say, like, I don't want them to ever, like, definitively prove to her that ghosts don't exist, but I also don't want them to ever have a moment where she gets definitive proof of ghosts. Like, have that be something that carries throughout the season with her as, like, a fun side motif. And then, like, have that be where she goes after the show, is I'm going to go continue for looking for ghosts. Or maybe have her be like, I'm going to start my own ghost hunting show. I'm female Zach Baggins now.
Yeah. I actually have a theory about the ghosts, but that ties into the flashback, so we'll get to that soon. Actually, let's talk about Ollie. I like Ollie. He's basically like me on a bad day.
Yeah, he's pretty fun. I like how he's not passive aggressive, but like he has opinions and he's not afraid to assert them in like the least dickish way possible that's still kind of standoffish.
Yeah. And also I love that him and Amelia have banter, like legit, they kind of like hate each other a bit, but like it's like not in an obnoxious way. It feels like in a genuine...
they kind of come off like siblings to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that. Honestly, now that you say that, I don't want them being shipped. So
There's people already.
dang it. I mean, we already have that stupid like stepbrother joke, but like, besides the point.
And there's God, what was I gonna say for a second there? Oh, I love that we're continuing having there being moms for Rangers in Dino themed seasons. Like that's been a very rare thing in Power Rangers, but
also this kind of continues the parental theme for Beast Morphers, but I'm very worried that one of my this is more of a nitpicky problem with Beast Morphers. There was only one parent for each of the pick Rangers, and I hated that because I'm like, people have multiple parents, right? Or you can even I wouldn't even mind if they just wrote a line saying, "Oh, that parent is not dead" or something, because I kind of, I feel like more shows should be like, there's two parents, one of them's just not here.
Yeah, they
not here like a not dead, but like not here. They're working on something or something.
I mean, I don't ever recall them implying a parental death in Beavers, but I would also say like. I think that's just a budget issue of, Power Rangers has always been on kind of a shoestring budget. So if you want you want every team member to have a parent, then not everybody can have two parents, or maybe nobody has two parents, just for necessity of cast.
Yeah. Actually, wait, the question. So Warden Buzzkill, was his last name Garcia?
Yeah.
Because I swear someone said that.
That was Database Ranger. He said that, or I think he was just being Jake in that video, but like, he said that his last name is Garcia, which confirms that the other two Rangers aren't gonna be missing for too long.
Yeah. I mean, we already got an episode 4 title called New Recruits, so...
Oh, wow. I was expecting them to be in episode 2 or 3, so that's exciting that they're holding off for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Ollie. I like his mom. And I guess since we
she's nice.
Since we briefly mentioned him, Warden Garcia seems like he'll be a fun foil for the Raiders.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. Like, apparently Simon was calling him a comedic character. Like he was implying that this is a comedic character you'll see. And I like how for once in Power Rangers the comedic character isn't a slapstick goofy person, but just a person really pissed at everyone. That's just wonderful.
Like, I don't know how much you'll get this reference, but he almost gave me a little bit of the feel of, like, Jim from Code Lyoko. They'll always be trying to walk around him while they're doing their superhero stuff, because he could potentially find them.
Gotcha. Okay, I need to watch more Code Lyoko. I've seen bits and pieces, but, like, not full episodes, so I'll get to it one day.
It is one of the few shows I will always take up for, despite it not being universally beloved.
Yeah, I mean, like, from what I've seen, it's pretty universally beloved. Actually, tying it back to Power Rangers, the composer for Neo Saban, I forgot his name, he composed the music for that show.
Yeah, his Power Rangers work is so disappointing to me, because the Code Lyoko theme is one of my favorite songs of all time, honestly.
I kind of hate it, but I respect your opinion.
Let's see, what else can we talk about before we start getting...
Void Knight?
Let's go, Void Knight.
You start.
It's tough to say this as a compliment to Power Rangers, because the suit's from Real Soldier, but it's a brilliant suit. I think the body language is pretty on point. I like the characterization. I don't like the voice. The voice sounds too generic.
Yeah, I was kind of a little disappointed at the voice, but I'm like, you know what? I could still work with it. I kind of just want his voice to be a bit more calm evil than angry evil, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you want something more menacing for your big bad than aggressive, and that's been Go ahead.
That's been a problem with Power Rangers in general. I think you were about to say.
Like, Evox, I would say, is kind of on the better side, but then you've got Galvanax. Took me a minute to remember his name. Sledge.
Well, he's a pretty forgettable guy.
Yeah, and Mr. I almost said Mr. Xandred. Master Xandred.
That would be honestly, they should have just called him Mr. Xandred. It would just make it that much more funny.
He's yelling at the Rangers when they're in the Sansu River to get off his lawn.
Just get out
of my hell dimension.
Yeah. That we just made Samurai infinitely more better.
Yeah, I like Void Knight. I think he has interesting potential. I love that they dropped the hint that maybe the suit isn't what he actually looks like, and he probably stole it from somewhere. Like he's potentially the Boba
Okay, I have a
Fett
theory
of
about the
Power
suit.
Ranger villains.
Oh yeah, actually, I have a theory about the suit. All right, but that kind of ties into the backstory. So I'll hold off on both theories about the ghosts and the suit. Got to keep those pinned.
Yeah, we can save that for kind of like some wrap up type prediction stuff.
Yeah, just here. I'm gonna write it in the document just so I don't forget.
Yeah, I liked him. And then I think the next thing.
Oh yeah, I love Void Knight. His voice is bad, but in like a fun way.
That's fair. I can see enjoying it on that level.
Yeah, but like, and also I just love that like we have like he's like, I know like people were complaining that he got caught by the net too easily, but literally the next scene he literally grabs the key and like summons the henchmen. So it's like I feel like people are being a bit too selective about that.
Yeah, it's like it didn't disable him. It like temporarily impeded him.
Yeah, and it honestly just like, also I love the line, "A new toy, I'm gonna enjoy this," and just, man, I love that line. It's so good.
I feel like that was a little wink at the older.
Yeah.
And frickin' something else
Zyke?
I forgot to mention. I think this might
Salon?
be in tune with your. No, I was gonna get onto that next. I think this might be in tune with your theory. But I almost wonder if the person Amelia was trying to shoot with the net was actually Void Knight. Because we never actually see anything that looks like Ollie. We see a weird figure moving through the mists. And, like, I went back and paused it. It looks nothing like Ollie does.
I will say the ghost theory and the Void Knight theory are completely different. I'm going to say they're two different theories. So
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, like, I think that could potentially be a fun thing for them to just drop later on down the line. Like, oh yeah, you almost caught Void Knight way back in there. Like, maybe if they want to get crazy like Dino Charge and do a time travel episode, they could drop that. But if they do that, please don't alter anything. Just...
Yeah, make it like the Ninja Steel time travel episode, but good.
Mm-hmm. Or like a time travel clip show.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what Ninja Steel did.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched that.
I wouldn't blame you, to be honest. Let's talk about Salon and Zaito.
Salon and the base, I think. We should save Zaito for another minute.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of keyed into the flashback, but...
yeah, you're right.
How are you feeling about this base? Because we got pictures of it a little while ago, but now we've actually gotten to see some moving shots of it and what it actually plays like with people.
Okay, I had a very big worry in my head when we saw this base in the promo pictures that it was going to be Galaxy Warriors, and I was like, please no, please no, please no. It's not, thank God, but it looks pretty cool.
Why were you worried it was going to be Galaxy Warriors?
It has a similar aesthetic. Also,
I think I can see that.
Yeah, it has this very similar aesthetic, and also a character from Ninja Steel may or may not be popping up later, but I'm not going to say who.
Mm-hmm. And, like, I definitely enjoy the aesthetic of it. I hope that they're going to light it a little brighter in future episodes, like the dimly lit aesthetic.
Yeah, I think it's a spaceship, so...
Yeah.
I think it's a spaceship, so...
Definitely. Yeah. That's definitely what's going on there, I think, considering the backstory.
What else?
Salon.
And Salon herself, first off, she's played by the... one of the villains from SPD.
Yeah, when I found that out today, popped me. The actress who played Morgana, which is the older version of Mora, voiced her.
Gotcha.
And like, I didn't even know that woman was still
her.
working, so it was cool, and I didn't recognize her, so definitely, like, one of the highest compliments I think you can pay an actor or actress is that they're unrecognizable in a role, because being an actor is being a professional pretender. So, like, I didn't catch that it was her. I had to be told by people who were tweeting out casting news. So,
yeah, same.
Definitely a great performance. And the character, I think, is pretty fun. She's got this kind of, like, motherly, but also not putting up with your shit attitude.
Yeah, kind of like, and I like her, like, snarky banner with Void Knight. I kind of like, she's kind of like, you know what, I might die, but I'm going to make quips while I do it. Mm-hmm. Just kind of. Like, you know what? Like, no, like, I kind of like that. Like, what good? I'm
early episodes, getting used to each other's temperament. It's a fun thing with podcasts,
I guess.
But yeah, I like Solon. I wish the mouth was articulate in the suit, though.
Yeah, I saw, like, I was talking with some people in the Discord server, like, they were kind of disappointed about that, and yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in that too. Although I think that, like, might be like some. I don't know, I think they kind of rushed it, maybe the suit, but it still looks very good.
Oh yeah, it looks good. I love that they included feathers on it because that's a modern thing with dinosaurs. Is dinosaurs?
Weirdly enough, in
feathers.
the flashback when we see the dinosaurs, they don't have feathers. So
it's because they're reusing models from Dino Charge.
Oh, I completely forgot that was a possibility instead of just taking some CGI dinosaurs from CGIDinosaurs.com.
I think they originally got those models from some site like that too.
Yeah, that's not a real site, by the way. I'm legally obligated to say that.
But then we get into some of the action, and I think this would be a great time to bring up because this is where it really comes to the forefront. New music! I'm so happy!
Yeah, it's not just like even Beast Morphers had that like Go Power Rangers kind of like consistently, but this is like this sounds different and I like it. The composer has composed many like Disney sitcoms and a lot of them are about technology, so that's why it sounds EDM-ish.
Yeah, it sounds very EDM, very synth, which is right up my alley. Like this straight up reminded me of the Tron Legacy soundtrack. We're recording this on a certain day, so R.I.P. Daft Punk.
I was just about to say.
But like, yeah, that battle theme especially reminded me of the song De-Rezzed, and like I love how just aggressive and in your face it is. That's how Power Rangers battle music should sound, damn it. And like they also did a great job of keeping the mood of the theme adjustment to the scene. Like when we're in Buzz Blast, it's very light and playful. When we're in the forest, it's a little more mysterious, a little forlorn at points. Oh, I love the music.
Just like this is a far cry from like just the consistent white noise of Neo Saban.
Definitely.
Like, yeah, and also, but a weird nitpick about the music. I don't think it was the good choice for this season, if that makes any sense. Because Knights, dinosaurs, they're old. This is new. Although I kind of get it because it's the Morphin grid, all that shiny metallic, thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of get the choice, but at the same time, I'm not fond of it. I kind of would have preferred a bit more rock sound.
Definitely, and it does kind of suck that we don't get electronics. We get electronic sounding music now, but we didn't get it in Beast Morphers.
Yeah, we kind of did in the first episode, but that didn't stay for long.
Yeah. And then just like getting into some of the aesthetics of the suits and stuff. I mean, like this definitely carries over from Ryusoulger, but like, how do we feel about the Ranger suits, the weapons, the henchmen? Let's get into it.
Yeah, as I love Void Knight's suit. This is my current Discord profile picture. Mm-hmm. It is like so that suit's really good, and I also love the character. So that I like. So the henchmen, I love the I think that the henchman's design is one of my favorite Mook designs in Sentai and Rangers. Yeah, I'm partially biased because I love spear-based characters, so that might be a thing.
That's fair. I'm not super into it. I don't like how it's a plain undersuit with all this armor just on the upper body, but I can definitely vibe with them so far in the show, especially because I love the plot detail of like, no, this was Ranger technology that the villain just up and stole.
And like, I know we're getting more flashbacks later on. We better see those suits working for the Rangers in flashbacks. Like that would be so cool. And also, I really hope they get a figure because the Tronics got a figure, but there's no henchman figure announced yet. So really hope they get a figure. That reminds
me, I need to go back and army build some Tronics on clearance. I kept saying I was going to do that, and I never got around.
Yeah, I actually Tronics was one of the first Beast Morphers toys I got. Oddly enough.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the Ranger suits. I don't love these suits.
I remember you went on record in like a video saying you hated those suits.
That was back during Ryusoulger. I've definitely softened on them a good bit. I would actually say they're between the Q-Ranger, or not the Q-Ranger, the Kyoryuger and the Gaoranger suits for me, with the Gaoranger suits being the better end of the spectrum.
Gotcha. I actually like the Kyoryuger suits, but like, yeah, I like these suits. They mix the dinosaur and knight motifs in a really good way, like the teeth being like armor, like not the armor, like being a helmet, a knight helmet, like
that's
you know what I mean.
I definitely like the lightning bolt sort of aesthetic down the chest.
Which honestly, I can see why they did Dino Fury as their first fully original Hasbro season now, because there's a lot of MMPR semi-MMPR callbacks, like and just dinosaurs into the lightning bolt. So
It's almost like it's one of the two Sentais that was designed in collaboration with Bandai of America.
Anyway,
and then like I'm assuming they're just gonna be called like the Dino Fury Sabers. But like,
actually, we have a name. We got a name when the trailer released from the IGN article. It's Chroma Fury Sabers.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, although I actually really like that name. I feel like Chroma should be used more as a word.
Yeah.
So
I honestly thought they looked super dinky and cheap in Ryusoulger, or what I saw of Ryusoulger. But here, they seem like they have a nice girth to them, and I like the way the mouth moves when you put the key in it, so I'm definitely into them here.
Yeah, I will say I will miss the Ryusoulger, like, weapon saying, soul, 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 that's it! You know, like, but that's a Power Rangers thing in general, where they get rid of the sound effects, so...
Yeah, I'll be honest, like, one of my favorite things about Dino Charge was that they had a voice for the Morpher, so I kind of wish that was here, but there's still a possibility.
Well, to be fair, there wasn't really any chance to have voices for the Morphers yet, so...
Mm-hmm. And, like...
Because you usually, like, first episode morphs, they don't usually have those voices, so...
And that's...
Like, if you go back to Dino Charge, they didn't have the voice until the first team morph, so...
True, and, like... That's my big complaint with this season, I would also say as well so far, is I'm not a fan of the sound design, because a lot of it is carryover from Neo Saban seasons, and a lot of it is not in the Morpher. This is a consistent problem with Hasbro so far. The Beast Morphers Morpher has this, and now the Dino Fury Morpher has this. The sounds are completely different than what's in the show, and I hate that.
Yeah, honestly, I think Dino Fury's gonna have a big toy synergy problem, not just because of the keys and the Morpher sounds, which, like, come on, those Morpher sounds are really cool. Why would you want to use that? That would be perfect to use in the show. But, like, that one, and also release dates of the Zords. The Zords aren't going to be released until, like, the show's first season wraps up.
Yeah, that's I think that's a development problem with Hasbro, where just, like, they're designing them the same way that they design Transformers, and that takes a really long time, and they can't seem to get the timing down on it properly.
But also, like, another synergy thing I want to point out, the Rangers in the figures, they have weapons, and they confirm those weapons, they're completely new weapons, they're not going to be seen in the show, so...
that's
it's
a
like,
little lame.
What the... Yeah, very lame, because it's like... I get, like, the synergy isn't as strong as it could be, but that's literally my biggest problem with Dino Fury so far, just toy line synergy. That's more of a business problem than, like, a quality problem.
That being said, I did dig the addition of the Dino. I thought that was a cool little move, Zaito or Zato.
Yeah, although he inadvertently causes all the Sporex to go nuts,
But, like,
how was I gonna...
let's go ahead and get into Zato.
Yeah, Zaito.
Because I was really impressed with this character. I went in being like, the Red Ranger's probably going to be the weakest part of the show, because I don't like those face prosthetics. From what I've heard, he's a bit of a Daigo.
We've actually seen... in Ryusoulger is a bit of a Daigo, like Ko, although I actually really like Ko, but that's besides the point. But, like, also, we've seen the face prosthetics aren't going to be there the whole time, so thank God.
But the thing is, like... the face prosthetics look so much better in motion.
Oh yeah, they do.
Like they look literally pasted a bit weird on in the promo stills. Here, I could actually see where they were real prosthetics that they had put on that actor.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Zaito, I really like how he's, like, very humble. Like we don't really see that many humble or, like... He kind of reminded me of Yamato, in a way, from Zoorger.
He's humble, he's kind of calm and collected through the little bit we get to see him.
Yeah, I also love his voice.
Yeah, that actor has a smooth voice. Reminds me of TJ.
Yeah.
And, like, just him coming out and immediately being like, okay, shit's going on, let's defeat these two enemies, okay, so on, what's the situation? Like, literally tells you this guy is experienced. He knows how to handle himself in a fight, and he knows how to defer to others when he needs to. That's traits we haven't seen in a Red Ranger right off the bat in a long time, so...
Yeah, because we've kind of, ever since Troy, we've kind of had what I call slacker Red Rangers, like...
Yeah.
Like, and I understand why they want to have the Red Rangers to have a bit more slackerish attitude, because Troy was such, like, a mess. So like I kind of get they wanted to go the opposite direction, but then we also got Brody, who's probably the worst Red Ranger ever, even worse than Troy. Don't at me.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but Brody definitely did kind of suck as a character. And like I like Tyler and oh god,
Devin.
Yes, Devin. Thank you. I completely blanked on his name for a second there, but I like Tyler and Devin, but they're definitely not the best Red Rangers ever. Whereas I feel like Zato has I'm so used to saying Zaito because that's how we were all pronouncing it until this episode aired. But
Zato, I don't know. I'm probably gonna say it interchangeably.
Solon said Zato, so I'm trusting that that's the official pronunciation.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Zaito anyway because it just flows off the tongue better.
That's fair. But Zato has really impressed me so far, and I feel like he has a lot of potential, especially because they kind of establish him as like a mentor for
actually when I read the character description, I was like, okay, finally we're compressing characters, but like making the mentor and the leader the same character, and I'm like, that's such a great idea, especially with a night themed, especially with like his backstory. That's such a great idea for like to have our leader and mentor being the same character.
Mm-hmm. Like I get the feeling that Solon's gonna be kind of a mentor, but also kind of like an Alpha 5 type character.
That's what I'm saying, like a more of a technical advisor.
Mm-hmm. But like here's my and this kind of verges into predictions territory, but like I think the team dynamic is gonna kind of be like a family thing of like Zato and Solon being the parents and the rest of the Rangers being the kids.
Yeah, that would be so good, especially with what we've seen of the characters so far. Mm-hmm. That would be so good. Also, should we get to the backstory?
Yes, the thing that kind of broke the fandom for a second because holy god, y'all, they're here, they're big, they're powerful, they're impressive, and they're in the thumbnail because I'm not cheap. The Morphin Masters appeared on screen for the first time since the frickin' 90s.
And also, they appeared on the Boom Studios comics. That's where the main inspiration comes from. But, who cares? We don't care about the Boom Studios comics. Yeah, show-wise.
And like,
although I will say, it really shows that like they're trying to get the adult fans like, please like us. We brought back these like obscure characters that we brought back into the Boom Studios comics that we know you all read, even though they're not as good. Don't at me.
Yeah, that one-off explanation for a plot device that y'all have been writing fanfics about for literal decades. Here it is, canonized.
Yeah, I love when shows do that with their like lore, like saying, okay, we've had this thing, we made it in like a one-off episode, and it's just people have been writing about it. Let's make it let's give an official explanation about it. Also, their suits are designed by Toei.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually, I'll try to find it on Ranger Board. Posted something about it.
But like, see that's interesting because this meme was making the rounds this morning.
Let me see it. Oh yeah, like Power Rangers fans, ooh, and like Sentai fans confused, screaming. Yeah, although they are really good suits. They're they were like impressively good suits,
and they made actual suits, so that makes me think we're gonna see more of these characters.
Yeah, and they're just really good suits in general. They have this like nightly motif. Although I kind of laughed when they came on screen because they're just kind of like floating into this portal. They're just like do. It felt like one of those going to McDonald's memes or something.
Yeah, it looked like they were shot on a green screen with like a wind machine, and then somebody in an editor puppeted them along the shot.
Yeah,
but like it's Tokusatsu. We can deal with cheap looking effects.
Yeah, I mean, it was a funny effect. I don't really, so I can't really complain.
And another cool thing that comes along with them, did you notice they came out of the Morphin Grid? We got a new visual for what the Morphin Grid looks like.
Oh yeah, we actually also see that in the background of the opening, like with like the whole like here's the cast member shot. So
yeah,
and also we actually see a glimpse of the Morphin Grid when Ollie and Amelia get morphed.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I think they're really going to play around with that Morphin Grid visual a lot. Let's start at the beginning of the backstory. So Zaito leads these knights, like actually, and these are some really cool knights. I kind of hope to get like a one-off lightning collection one day.
Yeah, the Knights of Ravcon. I would really love.
Knights of Ravcon, and basically everyone dies thanks to these Sporex, and also like the way it's shot, it feels like very unlike Power Rangers. It feels so different than the last 10 years, like of Power Rangers. It just feels like what's going on. It's like, well, everyone's destroyed, and then there's I assume there's only like 6 people, the 6 Knights of Ravcon left, or maybe there's more given episode 3's teaser description thingy, whatever. But you get what I mean. So they they're so determined to defeat these Sporex. They go down to Earth, team up with dinosaurs. That doesn't work, surprisingly. So the Morphin Masters are like, we are the Morphin Masters. Let's just appear out of nowhere comedically and just turn these dinosaurs into stones.
And now you're Power Rangers. Have fun.
Yeah, I think they might be the first team of Power Rangers, like, on Earth.
Yeah, they're definitely the first team on Earth, because Zordon's team was the oldest one we knew of, and that was 10,000 years ago. This is 65 million years ago.
Yeah, I actually feel like we might get a Zordon cameo towards the end of the show. I hope not, because I feel like this should be its own kind of thing. Like, I wouldn't mind as maybe, like, just on a side, like, just like, oh, here's a person in blue makeup who just happens to grab something from the Dino Fury stuff, and that's it.
If I would be down for Zaito or whatever his name is, I would be down for him saying, like, he met Zordon once, not, like, almost Gosei style, but not, classier somehow.
Well, he already said he heard about the Morphin Grid. Like, in the flashback, he said, I've heard stories about the Morphin Grid, so that kind of implies he's...
Yeah. And, like, the thing I want to see is Zaito's been around all this time. He presumably had... Solon says he went into stasis 65 million years ago. Maybe we green screen him into the Dino Charge premiere?
I mean, it's already been confirmed this takes place in the mainline universe. The Dino Charge is its own universe.
Yeah, that's the other big thing about this episode is it's a lived-in PRU. There's no Power Ranger moment.
Yeah, it's like, because it's like Ollie has that great line about, like, if you heard the news, Zords.
Yeah, I'm excited that we get to live in a lived-in PR universe. That's
yeah, but like I kind of like this way of like, let's acknowledge Power Rangers exist without just shoving down a bunch of characters and cameos down your throat. That's like the smart way of doing it, in my opinion.
Like, in my opinion, make the fans happy by making it a lived-in universe with just, like, mentions and acknowledgments that things have happened before in a regular season. Hold cameos off for anniversary seasons.
Yeah, we're actually approaching, believe it or not, so...
What if this is something that's been in the back of my head, but what if they do the same thing to this, or they do the same thing for Zenkaiger that they're doing for Ryu Soldier, just adapting it as soon as they can?
Oh yeah, probably. Although I do think Cure Major and Lupin Ranger versus Paddle Ranger could also work for anniversaries, but that's a discussion for another day.
So, yeah, we get all that backstory with Zaito, and then he's basically like, alright, the Sporex are back out, we're gonna have to deal with it, you guys ready to train? And that's how the episode ends.
I'd also like how, like the Sporex, let's talk about the Sporex, they're kind of just beings of chaos.
They're the freaking board. They just go from planet to planet, fuck shit up, take what they need, and then move on.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, especially since we've destroyed most of Ravcon, so it's like... This is a threat, man.
Oh, here's an idea. I literally just thought of this. What if, like, maybe as a reveal towards the end of the season, or even into season 2, if this gets 2 seasons?
It is getting 2 seasons.
Okay, just have them find out, like, Ravcon's fine. It completely rebuilt in the intervening 65 million years.
Yeah. We already kind of might get a tease of that, like, with the, like, episode 3 premiere, like, where it's, like, not episode 3 premiere, episode 3 description, but I'll save that for when we actually get to episode 3.
Well, that's...
Anyway, I need to talk about my Ghost and Void Knight theory. Let's start off with the Void Knight one, because the Ghost one is mostly a joke, I'll be perfectly honest. The Void Knight one's actually a bit more serious.
Alright, well, I'm listening.
So, Void Knight. I assume that, like, what's happening is the Rangers are so, like, what's gonna happen is, we're gonna flashback. The Rangers are struggling, so the Morphing Masters, they create a thing out of a new Ranger out of a void. So, like, because it's Void Knight, he doesn't really have any theming or specific dinosaur to him. He's just kind of the. Maybe I'm reading too much into that name, but I really think that name means something to his backstory.
That could be
like where he wasn't based on a dinosaur. He was kind of created as an amalgamation of all the Rangers' powers.
Or just like he is void of inspiration. He has no. They created him out of pure Morphin grit.
That's what I mean. Like that. Like maybe the Rangers assisted with the thing.
Yeah. I could see that. I also like.
And then the ghost one is just what if the Rafcon Knights are now ghosts?
Oh God. I don't know if that would be the worst thing, but it definitely isn't what I want.
Yeah. I kind of take that because the Real Soldier Masters idea, just like have like if you're gonna adapt the Masters, just like you already established ghosts are a thing that Amelia thinks about, so maybe they're setting up towards that. I really hope it's not, but hey, it's a thing.
Go ahead.
Any predictions you got?
Well, like I said, I definitely think this team's gonna be more of a family dynamic, very insular. However, we also have the outsider family things of where Amelia's boss kind of comes off like a big sister to her. Ollie has his mom. The Green and Black Rangers, who we haven't met yet, we've met their dad. But I think maybe he's their uncle. Who knows?
I think he.
Go ahead.
Like they already confirmed that Green and Black are step siblings. So.
And then. I would say like my big prediction is just Void Knight isn't going to be the villain for the whole show. I would expect by the end of the first season he gets his helmet ripped off Scooby-Doo style and
it reveals to be JDF.
Yeah, and then JDF gets a redemption arc in season 2 because like that's one of the other really interesting kind of new concepts to me. The main villain, at least the current established main villain, and the monsters of the week are completely disconnected from what we... Where the Sporks are just this naturally occurring evil, and Void Knight is just a guy who stole a suit of armor, and he wants to do something with a highly powerful energy source, and the Sporks just happen to fit that description.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I feel like we're going to spend season 1 building up to a big reveal about the thing Void Knight wants to do with all the energy, and then the finale arc of season 1 will be them stopping that and then unmasking Void Knight.
Yeah, I could see like a big final episode like for season 1 just being like a Red Ranger Void Knight like epic one-on-one duel, kind of like Samurai Red and Decker, but good.
Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of it. I would definitely say this was a great premiere. It's definitely one of those premieres that's entirely its future quality entirely is predicated on what comes next, though.
Yeah, because it's like, will it be like Beast Morphers and half of this stuff gets dropped, but the other half like stays, or will it be like just like nothing stays and it just becomes a completely different show? I think we're gonna at least be safe for now, like at least the first 5-8 before we head into hiatus because Nickelodeon stinks.
Yeah,
we'll be fine. I am very much looking forward to future episodes, especially given the premiere, not the premiere. I keep saying premiere descriptions, the episode descriptions.
Yeah, I haven't looked at those, but not intentional. Just they haven't crossed my feed. So
I sometimes I look for them. So
I may go and look them up later. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week in Toku, because that's the only episode we have to discuss this week.
Zenkaiger comes in 2 weeks, so we still got time.
Yeah, and obviously we went a little long this week. We'll probably keep our episode descriptions a tad briefer in the or episode discussion in a tad briefer in the future. Just like
when more shows start getting piled on.
Yeah, and there was just a ton of information here because it's a first episode, so a lot of concepts and things to go over. I think we'll probably, as we get into like more Monster of the Week stuff, we'll probably just be like, oh, I like this plot. Oh, I like this little bit of character work. Oh, this new Zord was cool. That'll probably be the bulk of the discussion.
Yeah. Unless Simon Bennett's serialization makes like every episode be this huge reveal, but we've yet to see that.
They do the WandaVision format.
Just like, like every episode, something new. Like, I was about to spoil WandaVision, but I realized not everyone has seen it, so...
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week in Toku. So, Buster, go ahead and tell everybody who you are and where they can find your stuff.
Hey, I'm Buster Corp. I do the YouTube thing. I just released a video on Super Mario 3D World, and also I do the Wattpad thing. Just actually released a new episode today, so
Hooray!
Go check that out. Yeah, and yeah, that's really all I got to plug.
Nice. Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm a video analysis toy review guy on YouTube. However, I'm currently on hiatus, but if you want to view my backlog, you can do so at youtube.com/users/thevacuuminator. That is spelled THEVACUUMINATOR. I'm also available on social media. You can find me on Twitter at the Vacuuminator, and you can go to my Instagram, _Vacuuminator, where I post action figure photography every workday at the moment. And go ahead, this podcast, do me a favor, give us a like, give us a comment, do the subscribe thing that you do. Go ahead and click the bell, enable notifications, all that fun YouTube stuff. You know, do what Amelia said in Dino Charge in that one scene. Do that. And if you want to keep up with us in the future, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at the Modular Media and join our subreddit r/Modular Media. And that's gonna do it for this week in Toku. We will see you back here next week when we'll be discussing another episode of Power Rangers Dino Fury and probably some more news. But until then, take care, everybody.